All right, so this is a Jeskai Delver deck here, who does not show up very well in the overlay. For those that are new to Modern or haven't seen this card before, 1/1 for 1 with no other text. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may reveal the top card of your library. If it's an instant or sorcerer this way, you transform this into a 3/2 flyer. We are pairing this with two other evasive flying creatures that are actually pretty recent printing. So we've got Stormwing Entity here, thanks to the 17 months Endo Crisis. And this is one of the goals of this deck is to be able to play Stormwing Entity consistently on the second or third turn of the game. So this card has a converted mana cost of 5, but costs 3 less to cast if you cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn. So a card that's still legal in Modern for some reason, Manamorphose, is an excellent way to put Stormwing Entity into play on the second turn of the game. We've also got Twitch chat's favorite card, Surgical Extraction, as well as a cheeky gut shot here as other ways that can let us Stormwing Entity on the second turn of the game. And then for additional threats past Delver and Stormwing Entity, we've got a few copies of Sprite Dragon here, as well as format staple Snapcaster Mage. Bolting people is quite possibly one of my favorite things to do in Modern when it's competitive, so hopefully that feels so. The one thing that feels kind of odd in this list that I don't know that I'm a huge fan of is we've got these Mishra's Baubles here, which I suppose they're here because they trigger Sprite Dragon and Storming Entity for free, and then post-board we have some Lurises to board in the grindy matchups, but I'm skeptical that the upside of playing this card is worth the kind of awkwardness it's going to generate some of our opening hands. So that's something I'm going to want to think about as we're playing the games was the upside that Mishra's Bauble offered worthwhile over the awkwardness it's going to create on occasion. Empire for Hire, thanks for the 7 months. I'm glad you're enjoying the Runeterra stuff. I'm enjoying Runeterra too. I'm going to wrap up on that today. So let's go ahead and dive on into our Modern League here and see how it goes. Do creator codes apply for? I believe creator codes are only for epic type game stuff. I don't know if there are for other types of games. I'm not familiar though. If anybody has more knowledge about that, feel free to hit me up. But I feel like if you're able to get a creator code for Magic Arena, other people would be talking about it. When you stream MTGO, do you have to display capture OBS or how do you do it? I haven't figured out how to do it without capturing. I'm actually window capturing OBS. If you jiggle with the settings, what do you have to do? I have capture method, Windows graphic capture. I can actually give you a little bit of... Oh, wait, I'll lose it if I change scenes. If you use capture graphic, if DM me on... Are you on Discord, Sunayami? If you're in the subs Discord, DM me, and if you can DM me right now, I'll send you a screenshot of what the settings have to look like to window capture Moto. It's a little quirky because Moto is like an application that's 2 decades old, but it is functional. I am window capturing Moto currently. Because ideally you don't want to share your entire desktop on Twitch constantly. Not sharing your entire desktop allows you to prevent accidental oopsies. Yeah, Stormwing's a sweet card. I mean, like two mana threats, like 2 mana 3/3 flyer with other upside is like a super reasonable stat line. So like figuring out if you can make it playable is a big deal. Easy mulligan with no blue source. And like here, right? Like these first 2 hands like, what if the Bauble in the first hand was a blue source, and what if this Bauble was a threat, right? Because if you don't play the Baubles, you probably play, like, 2 lands and 2 spells. Instead, I'm going to 5. Hey, thank you for the absurdly generous tier 3 Archon, John. I appreciate the third of a year. Welcome back. Bottoming a surgical... I think I'm just bottoming the Path in the Dark. I'm fetching Steam Vents anyways. We'll opt on 1, and then hopefully we get 3 shots at a land. We get a Scry, a draw, and a draw. And if we hit a land, we can Manamorphose into Stormwing on 2. I don't know, Mean Beam. Another thing to consider about the specific deck that we're playing here is there's a lot of shock lands in this deck, and I'm not sure that hey, thanks for the biddy, Suna. Now the one thing to note about that setting there is you do, and you'll notice that I have to do this when I switch, you have to manually change which window you're capturing when you change from showing the deck in the deck editor to showing the deck to like showing your league, because the league and the deck editor are technically different windows. Hey, thanks to the biddy 30 digits. Good morning to you. I probably should have double-checked the mana base of this deck. Mana base is definitely more than a little bit off. This Prismatic Vista should almost assuredly be a Scalding Tarn. Yeah, so like I can Dragon into Op next turn, or I can Dragon plus Delver. Dragon plus Delver is probably what I want to do, just go wide. But like, if I Dragon plus Delver, I'm fetching an island with this. And if I'm fetching an island with this, I don't have a white source out. So I'll be in trouble if I draw a Helix or a Path. Looking like we're just going to get comboed here. For people that aren't familiar with the opponent's archetype, they are Living End, which cycles a bunch of creatures into the graveyard and then casts the card Living End, which puts all creatures from discard piles into play and kills all creatures in play. So generally speaking, creature-based decks like what we're playing tend to be close to 0% against things like Living End. Historically speaking, at least. And then we're basically, you know, as is often the case in Magic, especially in Modern, we're just kind of like crossing our fingers, hoping our opponent doesn't have their Living End, and that we're able to kind of piece together a series of Delver flips and burn spells here to kill them before they find it. Yeah, there aren't counterspells in our 75 because our deck's not a tempo deck so much as we're just playing like fancy burn basically. Is the goal. And then it's unfortunate. The thing that's really unfortunate here is that we have 6 pieces of graveyard hate, but a majority of our graveyard hate is these surgical extractions, and surgical extraction is not stellar against it's not really stellar against Living End, because they put a bunch of different creatures from their graveyard into play, generally speaking. I think we just hope to be an awkward burn deck here. I'm going to cut the paths. Maybe I want the paths post board. If I'm going to have surgicals, like if I like surgical one of their cards or like surgical, snap surgical, and then like have a path to clean up. Yeah, maybe the paths are worthwhile rather than the helixes. Let's try this and see if surgical's paths and Snapcaster Mages can be enough to keep the board clear through a living end. All right. So we'll do the kind of scry trick here with the Bauble. We'll Bauble ourselves. I see another Bauble on top of my deck, which I don't really want to draw here. So I'm going to go ahead and fetch Shock. So this way, when I draw with the Bauble next turn, I don't draw the card that I just saw. Get that. Moto actually shuffle. You'll love to see it. Okay, so we're looking for a Delver, a Sprite Dragon, or the Stormwing, whatever it's called. All right, second surgical. Perfect. And there's the Storming Entity. So we'll shock this in. We'll go. Oh, and you know what? This is small. Again, modern sequencing is something to get back into the habit of. I'm sure we'll have it by the end of the league, but should have fetched here instead of playing the Steam Vent because I'm going to scry with the Stormwing Entity. And when I scry, I'd rather not be shuffling immediately afterwards. So should have fetched with this. So that way I'm not shuffling after these scries. Okay. What are we looking for here? Like burn spells and Tormod scripts, basically? Am I in for Delver? I feel like I'm not. I feel like I'm just looking for Tormod scripts and burn spells. Yeah, we have our deck. Our deck is playing super fair Manamorphose. Okay, and we get getting rewarded here for keeping the fetch land because we do get to do the scry trick again here. We get to Bauble ourselves and then fetch or not. So take a peekaboo. What's on top? Sprite Dragon. Probably okay with that. Am I? Let's take a look at what's in their hand and make a decision from there, huh? Let's go some Anger of the Gods. Worth noting, the opponent does not currently have a Cascade spell, so their Demonic Dreads, their Violent Outbursts are in here. They do have Anger, though, that I need to play around. I think the fact that they have Anger makes the Sprite Dragon worse, so I'm gonna crack this fetch land. How's Green trend these days in Modern? I don't really play much Modern, so I don't really have strong or educated opinions on, Let me rephrase. I don't have educated opinions, which means I shouldn't have strong opinions on anything in Modern. So, normalize saying the words I don't know. The world would be a better place for it. Jackie, thanks for the 18 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Anger me, daddy. Anger me. Don't violent outburst me. Am I flashing in Snapcaster Mage? Sure. All right, the 4X surgical plan here paired with Snapcaster Mage doing what we brought it in for, keeping their graveyard clear. If I opted into a burn spell, I could have killed them here, but I think we'll just pass. Probably good either way. I don't think there's any reason to be super aggressive here. All right, on the scoreboard. Sometimes lucky. Yeah, maybe Zaparis. I don't know. I was with all the surgicals and stuff I was doing. I was a little bit worried about my health total. Like, we dealt 12 to ourselves that game, and I think there's a chance, like, if their draw is a little bit different, we end up dealing even more than that. Is Helix just better than Path? Instead of me telling you you're wrong, tell me why you're right. Why is Helix better than Path? Clearly I disagree with you. And if you sat there and listened to what I said, you would have heard me talk through why I disagree with you. Instead, take a break. Come upstate for the summer. Take a break. Alright, Delver on 1. Morning time, Lord. Yeah, I should just time them out. You're right, Kurtz and she. Especially for one like that where I had like explicitly just talked through, hey, we're gonna try and control the board a little bit with surgicals and path exiles. I don't think that's true. I don't think play versus the draw makes a difference. I think the amount of emphasis people put on play versus the draw in their sideboarding plans is often over-engineered to let people try and feel smart in situations where the decisions ultimately don't matter. I think the opponent's deck's incredibly fast. I think they can literally floop I think they could literally floop 2 to 3 things into play on the second turn of the game. So play versus the draw is pretty arbitrary. Delver says, glory, glory, hallelujah. Hallowed Fountain's blowing through ya. So we're going to say no. You'll notice I put a stop on my upkeep there because I would not like to draw Hallowed Fountain. So if I opt during my upkeep, I can bottom Hallowed Fountain draw a different card with the opt, and then draw another different card for my turn. So I get to kind of dodge past it here. He says as he draws 2 more lands. Feels Magic the Gathering Man. Talk about how we're making the big brain play, all for it not to matter. I think Kinko Elusives is the best new player deck. As far as, like, what's, like, objectively the best deck without any, like, new player constraints, I have no idea. Legends of Runeterra is really awkward in that their gameplay is pretty balanced. There's a lot of different things that are playable, so it's hard to pick out just one. Those darn balanced card games, making it difficult to pick out what the objectively best deck is for the Spike player. We're going to leave this stop during our upkeep, so that when Delver shows us a 4th land in a row, I can crack my fetch to shuffle. Snapcaster Mage. Am I drawing Snapcaster Mage? I feel like I am. I'm, like, not happy about it, but I am. It's, like, better than a random. Do you mean League of Legends? You said try Riot. I assume you meant to say one of Riot's games. Which cards are going to get banned on Monday, in my opinion? You can always type exclamation point bans in chat to get my thoughts on upcoming bans. Right, auto chess. I don't know. Credit where credit is due. I see some people talking about Wizards suspending in-store play through the fall in the United States, and Wizards continues to have, in my opinion, an incredibly good response to everything going on around COVID. They could very easily be allowing, you know, stores that are willing to put, you know, trying to make profits over people's safety. And Wizards as a company has been very conservative in terms of canceling organized play, even though it's likely costing them money to do so. So again, for the sake of fair's fair, and we're dead here. They're going to be returning 4 things to play here, and I've got nothing. Yeah, basically everything Wizards has done with regards to their COVID response has been very good in my opinion. Store in your area just posted they're ignoring Wizards of the Coast and holding FNM anyways. I'd encourage you to report that store. They'll lose some of their advanced purchasing power, and they'll lose their FNM promos among other things. Good on you. Something we've talked about a little bit before is you know, when you like look around and like see other people that are like friends or family that are behaving very poorly and risking the lives of their other family members that they live with, or children or elderly people, you should remember that the inconsiderate people that they are during this pandemic, they're going to still be that inconsiderate person that doesn't care about others after this pandemic is done. So like, you know, if you really care about them, maybe have a conversation with them about their actions and try and encourage them to make good choices. But if you don't care, or if they're not willing to do that, you know, maybe consider that they're probably not worth your time. I probably forgot to check the shillings bump. Oh, you just did it. I don't do shilling. I don't do bumps midstream, Nivik. So that should get it up tomorrow. I think if they ban something from Grawl and it's not Land War Elves or Embercleave, they will have thoroughly shattered what small amount of faith I could possibly have in their ability to manage their formats. I think you could definitely make the argument that Grawl and Red Aggro deserve to have something banned out of them in Historic. But I think if you're going to make that argument, the things that should be removed are, man, where's my Fizz shoulder emotes for the gut shot counter your lightning bolt, chat? Where's my Fizz shoulder emotes? Just, whoo. Oh. Got him. The mental misstep, deal a damage to your face. Stream Deck are only showing 3. It's probably missing the 2 Luris of the Dream Den. Wizards, because they just they're new at this and haven't been making a card game for very long. They changed the official spelling of Luris. They removed the hyphen, I think, or they added a hyphen or something stupid. So some things have the hyphen for it and some things don't have the hyphen, and it's not consistent which ones are hyphened and which ones aren't. Why, though? Who knows? Oh, is the scry window not showing up? No, it's showing up. Alright. Basic planes looking super awkward in my Sprite Dragon deck. They unban Twin. Can we have a full day of jamming Twin into various modern shells? No. Hard pass. I will take and play your Twin submissions. I will not do an entire day of Mono. I'm past that point in my career, chat. Oh, what I'm doing with them is not showing up. Okay. I'll articulate that. Thank you. Yeah, yay, Magic Online. That's true. Okay, set a number. For $100 a Twin deck, I'll give you all day Twin. For double the normal price, I'll give you all day of Magic Online. Yeah, I mean, it's lower than you're expecting because, I wouldn't mind playing a bunch of Twin. It's just, Magic Online is, decidedly less profitable content in terms to produce, right? Especially, my audience at this point is much more Magic Arena, and real video games focused than that. Yeah, once we had a host from Mogwai, but yeah, with the host from Mogwai, we were solidly average more people for Runeterra than Moto. Well, like I said, there's also a reason why like I charge twice as much for moto submissions, right? It's intentionally to offset that a bit. We're gonna do 2 Rune Terror decks again today after this. And do 2 again tomorrow. We'll get back to doing historic stuff on Tuesday once we know what the ban list is doing. Okay, so they put Bolt on top of their deck here. I mostly watch just Moto's content for the Hoogle News segments. That's true. We do have more time to talk about the news while we play Moto. Facts. Can this run back Tempered Steel and Historic? It definitely can, Ice Tiger. Can you drop that through the form on the site just so I don't forget it? I appreciate you. You know what the link in deck list? Just put Tempered Steel in the deck name. Sir Mustache, thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate it. How do you feel about Snapcaster Gutshot, your Snapcaster? I think I like it. We know they have Bolt in their hand from the Mystic Sanctuary, but like I have a Surgical if they want to try and bolt my Stormwing. Yeah, the ban list links, like, there's always, like, there's frequently leaks and there's frequently fake leaks, so, you know, like, I'd recommend taking those with a large grain of salt. They countered my Surgical Extraction? Friendo. Okay. Yeah, but like, so like, once we know, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't implement the changes till Thursday as well. But like, I can play with the changes myself on Tuesday and concede to people that are playing cards that will be banned on Thursday. It's like I could basically like pseudo make it myself starting on Tuesday. All right, so fair matchup, definitely Seasoned Pyromancers and Luris. It's actually not a Path to Exile matchup. I think Helix, Bolt, Gutshot's probably plenty of interaction, and I probably don't want these Surgicals either. Actually, the Surgicals are probably good just for countering their bolts for free on this. Let's try this. Maybe Bauble, but like I was surgicaling a spell snare if you didn't see. I know the cards are small. I'm like, they could have just, if they had a snare in hand, snared the Snapcaster Mage on the stack. Yeah, they have Mystic Sanctuary and their Snapcaster Mage deck too, so occasionally they're going to need to like surgical their Snapcaster Mage target. Sounds good. Also, shout out to our current opponent whose username is Delving Donnie, and they're very clearly playing Blue-Red Delver. Appreciate somebody that can stay on character. It's like when you queue into like Jund Guy 69 and they play Hallowed Fountain on one, it's just like, you sir are a liar. Delving Donnie's a real straight shooter, chat. He ain't gonna lie to us. Hey, Royal Side does their avatar? Scale of 1 to dead. Where's this Delver secrets at? Dead side of the scale? They just fetch shock and then do nothing? Excuse me? Squeeze me? Thing in the ice. Alright, so we should have let Path Exiles in. Got it. Maybe they're not playing Delver? Maybe I've been lied to? I was lied to, chat. Donnie's not honest. He's a dirty, rotten liar. They've been bamboozled, chat. Thought the trust Donnie and I had was really built on a house of lies. Sure. Yeah, this card seems sweet. Pengu Power, thank you for the 51 months of support. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. The first click goes on top of the deck first. So we're going to draw Manamorphose and Surgicals underneath it here. Show you Manamorphose. Can we kill them? Not quite, right? I'm gonna make blue-red here, though. We're gonna opt. I probably should have dug for a land, huh? Okay, so we need to fade them drawing a 1-mana spell here. Look at their whole deck here. They are... Donnie is in fact a liar, chat. Donnie does not have... Donnie does not have Delvers in their deck. You sir are... I bet your name's not even Donnie, Delving Donnie. Are we one short of lethal here? Or in fact, one point short of lethal. It's an insect. It's not a horror, so it will in fact be bounced. All right. So if they draw, oh, they had a Snapcaster in their hand too, right? So we need them to draw like a 2 or 3 mana spell. If they draw land or 1 mana spell, we're dead here. No, land doesn't do it, right? Because that's only 2. They can bolt, snap, bolt, and kill my board, or like bolt, kill my board, but then we burn them out next turn, so we should be good here. Because if they kill my board, so I can't kill them on board, they can't hold up Archmage Charm. And if they hold up Archmage's Charm, we just have lethal attackers. So their hand right now is bolt, snap, Archmage's Charm. So Delvin Donnie is a liar and dead. God bless. They could steal Delver. Yeah, then I bolt them and they die. Kill you. We know their hand. Their hand is Bolt, Snapcaster, Archmage's Charm. They're deterministically dead. Great. 1-1 on the scoreboard, chat. On the scoreboard. Stormwing Entity, been really impressive so far. Arguably better than Delver, I think. Especially with our Phyrexian mana and Manamorphose. Sure. So, we'll Bauble before I play my land. So, there's a Flooded Strand on top of my deck, which I don't want. So, I'm going to go ahead and fetch this away. I'm going to go ahead and just play this out for now, too. What's going on, Lorwyn Soldier? Thanks for the 22 months. It's been a while since we were a modern only one. Windswept Teeth, eh? Oh! You know what? I should have looked at my own deck, and if there's a card that doesn't flip Delver on top of my deck, I stack it so I draw first, and if there's a card that is, I stack it so I draw second. So that's what I should have done. I should have bobbled myself there again, because with the Delver trigger, it lets me set it up. That's sick. I didn't think about that. So now I'm just stacking them randomly here. So I could have flipped Delver and then saw a card that doesn't flip Delver. So I would have guaranteed flip Delver if I bubble myself there. Worth noting. A lot of little trickies with the bubble. Okay, I'm good. I wasn't sold on the baubles when we started, but I'm getting more sold on them as we go. Got a Bladed Agent here. Yep. Looking for a Doomblade. So first Delver trigger. We'll opt past this. I'm looking for a removal spell at this point, so gonna bottom that. I would love to reveal this card. Thanks. This is unblockable. So might as well attack now. Pretty sure we're just blowing this now. Wow, that just worked. Deal. Nailed it. Go. I ain't scared, chat. There ain't fear in this dojo. Do I want to reveal Sprite Dragon? I do not. Do I want to draw Sprite Dragon? I feel like the answer is no. I guess if I draw Sprite Dragon, I 2-turn clock them, so maybe I'm supposed to. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to draw that. Veil of Summer actually doesn't really do anything against us, right? Because like our deck doesn't have counterspells in it. I'm gonna try and kill this now because there's a very real chance their hand's full of pump spells. So they just like kill us with actual damage next turn. If that Noble Hierarch lives. Man, should have kept the Sprite Dragon, huh? Well, I guess the good news is they're probably dead next turn. How's this deck felt? Playable. We died horribly to what's it called? We died horribly to Living End, but other than that, doing okay. Apostle's Blessing can come out here. They don't really have a lot of removal, even post board. Alpine Moon is good to bring in because it turns off all their Inkmoth next eye. We want the extra Path Exiles for extra rule spells, definitely the interactive deck in this matchup. Probably trim a Surgical. I don't mind leaving the first Surgical in because it helps us cast Stormwing consistently, and sometimes it can give us information, but the opponent's not really playing out of their graveyard, so it's not a card we're super interested in. I don't think this is a wear tear matchup. I think bringing in Alpine Moon as an answer to... I don't mind bringing in one answer to Inkmoth that only answers Inkmoth, but I think bringing in 2 cards that only answer Inkmoth is too many. Hey, Bushu's, yep. Advert is a sure sign that you're not currently subbed. Thanks for the 1.5 years. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Beer Burger, thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me around. Wouldn't be here without the support of folks like you. Yeah, maybe Dimir Spy. The blue-green infect doesn't usually have artifact threats, generally speaking. Usually if they're looking for another threat, they play the 3-drop that destroys artifacts, but I don't know. I haven't played a ton of Modern recently, so maybe they do that. I'm not quite sure what your question is. Artemox, this was a viewer submission that we're playing, like most of the decks we play here. This hand doesn't have any threats in it, but having a bunch of removal in this matchup is very good. So do the old Bauble Skyland thing. Again, the mana base in this deck is probably 6 or 7 cards off. There should definitely be Scalding Tarns. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a budgetary restraint that I just didn't catch when I imported the deck list last night. But 10 out of 10, this should be a Scalding Tarn, and there should be some fast lands in here. We're Spell Piercing my Mishra's Bauble. Deal. You remove Yugi Boy. Yar's Revenge. Thank you for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. I thought you were getting slim on moto submissions lately. I am, but I also like playing Delver deck, so I accepted this Delver deck. Like, when I say I'm being more restrictive in decks I'm taking in, that doesn't mean I'm taking in 0. People are still sending them in, I'm just rejecting a lot of them, but I am a sucker for tricky aggro and tempo decks are pretty much almost guaranteed to be yes. If they look like they might even be remotely competitive, I'll take a chance on them because they're my favorite style of deck to play in general. So, like, potentially crappy modern Delver deck? Yeah, in. Love crappy Delver decks. I would. Would really love Delver of Secrets in Historic. I think that would be a phenomenal card for them to print into the format. In fact, I think I'm going to put the Fizz Teemo deck back into the queue for Runeterra and play that again tomorrow. Speaking of, Runeterra and decks I enjoy and ahead. That's not strictly true. For a lot of people, I gained my notoriety playing Kiki Chord. And for some people going way back, they first became familiar with who I am because of Agrolome in Legacy. Depends on when you became aware of who I am. Morning, this is fine. Am I dead? We have double mutagenic growth as your last 2 cards. Yeah, sure, there's some owl costume people too. Alright, here's a real question. I think I'm more likely to live here casting Helix and Stormwing now rather than trying to kill the Ink Moth with Helix on their turn. I think there's a good chance they have 2 ways to protect this, and I like to just put a blocker out that scries a little bit. I'm going to bottom the Sprite Dragon. I actually have the 5th mana for this, so I'm actually just going to keep this and play it as a 5-drop next turn. So, like, if they attack with the Ink Moth, we're snap blocking, not close. Owl Suit. Oh, Owl Suit. I'm gonna bottom that, top the Opt, because that powers these up. I think I'm gonna get aggressive and attack with both of these. Hey, my 3/3 flyer scried too, thank you very much. Okay, thanks. Defensive pump spells, love it. Morning, Niner. Welcome. So if Opt finds another cantrip into another cantrip, we could kill them. Oh, they also have Ink Moth to block with, right? We'd like to find a Bolt or a Snapcaster Mage, right? Or another Helix. But Surgical, their ground spells here, push the extra damage. It's the pump spell they're most likely to have 4 of as well. Okay, so we're dead here. think I'm happy with how I boarded. Let's run it back. Is Inkmoth not an artifact? It is. So I talked about that a little bit. I boarded in a copy of Alpine Moon. I don't like bringing in more than... I don't like bringing in more than one card that only answers Inkmoth. Because I think if you bring in more than one card that only answers Inkmoth, you're on a real chance of it just being dead in your hand. So, unless we see some other artifact or enchantment out of them, I don't like bringing in more. I think it's correct to kill the Noble Hierarchs here. Choking them on mana and resource efficiency in the early turns can often be how you win the game. Usually that's like exactly Pendelhaven though, Coons. Which isn't a particularly big deal a lot of the time. Yeah, we haven't seen Skite. We haven't seen, like, if we saw Spell Skite or the enchantment that gives your things +3/+3, I might consider it. But without seeing those cards to start, I don't think I bring in Wear Tears in the Dark on top of Alpine Moon. It's our best find tier, like a Path to Exile or another burn spell, probably. Morphos ain't bad. I don't think I want to trade Sprite Dragon for a pump spell here, so I'm going to leave it back on defense. We're gonna die because I didn't attack with this last turn. I'd hit them for 2 down to 11. And then this turn, I probably wasn't hitting for 11 this turn regardless. So Distortion Strike makes this unblockable for those wondering. Let's start with this and see where we go. I'm gonna make blue-red here, I think. Punished. Okay, we find another spell, we could kill them, right? Okie doke. Okie doke. Archangel Cynthia. Thank you for the sub gifties. I appreciate that. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at in the world. Staying safe out there. The Stormwing's actually been, like, super impressive. This kind of feels like the threat this archetype has been looking for. Like, it's a play that you can make early that, like, smooths out your draws a little bit in a deck that could sometimes have a wrong half problem. Sprite Dragons felt pretty okay, too. Like, yeah, I'm kind of into what this deck is doing. I think the Living End matchup that we played, match 1, is poop, and I don't think you could fix that. But, like, you know, you can't have a good match against everything in Modern, so it's not how these formats work. Yeah, dodging Fatal Push altogether is a big deal. Big agree. I should make a point to plug that some more too. By the way, the next open is going to be a week. What day? What Blur's Day is it? Is today Friday? The next open is going to be a week from tomorrow. You need to be subscribed to the channel and then pay the $6 entry fee to play. Everybody who plays in that tournament that gets at least 5 match wins will get prizes. It's going to be historic with 3-mana Teferi and Wilderness Reclamation banned. So Jumpstart cards will be legal. Those go into effect next week on Arena. Whatever bans that happen on Monday will be in effect, and then we will also be removing Reclamation and Teferi, because I don't expect them to ban those. So my favorite flavors are Ben and Jerry. Anything with chocolate and peanut butter in it. When does that queue open? Signups for the open are available now, Cynthia. Yeah, this is fantastic. This is okay. Second glance at the mana. This basic Plains has been real bad. Mana in the deck needs a little bit of work. Core idea of the deck, good. Mana base needs work. We'll talk about the mana base after the set. I'm going to keep this anyways, because I can Gutshot or Surgical to put Stormwing into play. But basic Plains kind of poopy. If you're going to start, play MTGO, what would my suggestion be? Like, suggestion for decks to play? I don't know. What format are you playing? Am I just killing Legion Loyalist here? Or do I, like, take a couple of hits from it? I think I'm just supposed to kill it. Yeah, sure. Doing a rental service to get a feel for a couple of different decks isn't a terrible idea. I have a couple of people that have talked to me about potentially doing stuff like that, Kodama. Maybe we'll... I had thought about rotating some people through, but Matt and I had good chemistry, so I never really took any direction in it. But if Maddie's gonna tap out, I have a few other people that have had reached out to me in the past that would be reasonable fits, I think. About to get whacked, chat. So Bushwhacker's going to come into play here and give their things 1-0 and haste. So these Burning Emissaries are going to run us down. I'm going to bottom that in the hopes of drawing a red source here. G-Man Sala, here's to over 2 years. Hopefully Magic corrects and I can watch Jeff enjoy Modern Legacy again. I mean, to set a low bar, I don't think Modern or Legacy in their current states are markedly worse than Historic or whatever. Alright, their last card isn't particularly aggressive. You have to take a peek at the rest of their deck here. So looking to fade like a Tarkus Command and like 2 power haste things here. Hopefully the Storming Entity can scry us into a red source for the Helix next turn. No, Surge is... You can play a card for its Surge cost if you or a teammate casts another spell that turn. Yeah, they have a ton of lethal draws here, so... Could just be dead on their untap for sure. We will prioritize blocking Reckless Bushwhacker here because of Goblin Grenade. So taking their Goblin threat out of play is ideal, so that way Goblin Grenade is not a lethal top deck down the line. Hey, Nikachu, thanks for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Wolfwood, thanks for the 21 months. I appreciate that. All right, so definitely Path to Exile. I think this is actually a Seasoned Pyromancer and Lurrus matchup, not because I expect it to be grindy, but because lifelink and bodies are just like relevant and useful here. Merch from Apostle's Blessing and Surgical Extraction. We're not really looking to impact their graveyard or protect our stuff here. Why not Snap Gutshot? Because I think developing a board that doesn't die inside of combat is my best chance to get back into that game. All of the same plays, all of their same draws that kill me when I play Stormwing, kill me if I Snap Gutshot. So I'd rather put the threat into play that could live through combat. Cutting Bauble when I'm bringing in Lurrus is probably bad. Trim a couple of ops. Probably don't have time to fumble around with this as much. Distraction Ninja, thanks for 7 months. Welcome back. I think this is a mulligan. It doesn't have Bolt or Helix in it, and it doesn't have any threats. The mana base is also kind of painful. Again, the fact that the submission had Prismatic Vista, not Scalding Tarn in it, kind of biting us there. That hand might be keepable with Scalding Tarn. Yeah, I think this is a keep. We're like not excited about it, but it is. We're gonna bottom Stormwing Entity and Flooded Strand, I think. Probably fetching Sacred Foundry with this tapped. Am I okay if they trade Firebrand for Delver? Probably not. Probably because a lot of the good decks in Modern have pretty mediocre, unsatisfying play patterns. Is there a reason we sequenced Delver first? Because I was definitely playing Delver. I wasn't sure if I was playing the Path. Why did it matter? Why does playing Delver or Path there first matter? Can you explain? Get Surge chat. No, it's Tepsec. It's not Mog Phonetic. All right, 1/1 flyer on defense. Let's go. Let's go. Was hoping to draw a land there so we could snap Path and then curve into Seasoned Pyromancer the following turn, but at least the spell's castable in another 3-drop. I think that's too cheeky, Dark Rider. I think ideally I'd rather have the Delver live. No, there are a ton of creators who are currently not playing much Magic because the current play patterns of Magic are not great. I think Bloody on Twitter this morning, as I follow a lot of the F2K people, she had posted that she was exploring Hearthstone Battlegrounds today because of current Magic play patterns. So, yeah. Well, you know, if it was the right play 2 turns ago, What are lands? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, hey. My current plan for content is to stick it out and slug through a little bit of Magic content still every week, guaranteed until rotation happens. So not just gonna give. I've done Magic for a long time. I love it as a game, but if they don't get standard right with rotation, I think I'm gonna take a break for a little bit. Is my plan. Play bad tempo decks. I think between now and then, I'm going to be pretty limited on what viewer submissions I take in, which I have been. The deck queue for Magic's been very small because I've been rejecting more submissions. It's also been small because I just like haven't been getting as many submissions, and I've been rejecting more as well because people are less hyped to stick things in. We're 2-2 in this. I feel like that last match that we just lost was definitely one that we could chalk up to our mana base being awkward. The lots all fetches and shocks means we're extra bad against aggro even with Lightning Helixes. And then the fact that we stuck on 2 there was obviously bad as well. Yeah, I'm interested to see, Dwight. I don't want to go absurd and like hack. I don't want to turn historic into something unrecognizable with house bands. I'm also like not sure. Like we only have 50 some people signed up so far too, so it's tough to measure. Like, you know, if we don't get the 150 200 people we've had for the previous opens, that makes me less incentivized to run ones with custom band lists in the future because there's less interest in them. Maybe AGH. I mean, I'm taking in a ton of Runeterra submissions. If it's any metric, I've been taking in more Runeterra submissions than Magic submissions as a baseline. I mean, based on the sub poll that we had, I would be surprised if I'm going to gut shot aggressively here because they're playing Tron, which means we just need to run them down. I would be surprised if it's the entry fee. People were largely indifferent, or I definitely think the current state of the formats is more to blame than the entry fee. Full stop. Hey, thanks for the 3/4 of a year serial number. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yep, wasn't a thought nuts here. Yeah, and there's not even gameplay things too, but like a lot of the Magic community, especially people in this community where I'm incredibly progressive myself, I think have taken a step back from investing as much in Magic with all the things that have come out about WotC's workplace issues over the last little bit. So this gives protection from artifacts or a color. It does not give colorless protection. So unfortunately cannot block Matter Reshaper with this. Yeah, Manamorphose would be an okay draw. Lightning Bolt would be an okay draw. Blossom is annoying. Yeah, maybe. Are they dead? 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. My one short. 6, 9, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I'm one short. That's fine. They're probably not killing us next turn anyways, but it's awkward. So if I would have Apostle's Blessing last turn, I would have killed them. Nah, probably not. We didn't start or not big on tournament play in any game at the moment. Alright, so Tron. They're probably a Chalice of the Void deck still, right? So Wear Tear comes in, Surgical Extraction and Gutshot, not stellar. Path to Exile seemed fine. Protection from Apostle's Blessing seems not stellar. I guess some of these games could grind. Maybe we bring in the Alpine Moon to turn off their Tron on occasion, or their... Yeah, not only evidence of racist hiring practices, but also, you know, issues with how they've treated some of their creators, kicking people out of the creator program, and issues with the D&D content that's gone up on their website that wasn't just explicitly racist, but like they rejected content because it depicted queer characters in a way that they were okay depicting non-queer characters. That was a really awful standard for them to set. Like, so number of things. There was a thing in the D&D community where there's a wizard sanctioned, my understanding, there's a wizard sanctioned site that hosts community made D&D content, and they rejected content for a setting. They rejected community content saying it was overly sexualized because the sexualization in it was queer characters as opposed to other content that's targeted at straight people that's just as much, if not more, sexualized on the same platform. So they explicitly singled out this content as not being okay because it was claiming because it was sexualized, when in reality it wasn't okay to them because it was sexualized and not straight sexualized. And then the cherry on the top was they did that during Pride Month. You know, while all of their banners and stuff were rainbow colored. Because remember, giant corporations aren't your friend. They exist solely to take your money. I do not want to draw Path to Exile. I'm going to shuffle my deck. Alright, I'm going to Manamorphose to start, because if I draw a Stormwing, I want to cast that. I'm going to Bauble the top card of my deck here, see if we find a Stormwing. We do not. I'm going to go ahead and destroy the Mind Stone here, so we're less likely to get Thought-Knot Seer next turn. They have Tron anyways. For people not familiar with Modern, these three lands, when you have all of them in play, tap for a total of 7 mana. So on the third turn of the game here, my opponents cast a Reality Smasher. If you don't follow Zbeg on Twitter, you should follow him. He's tweeted a bunch of stuff. Well, Walking Ballista I can concede to. God bless. Yeah, at the end of the day, like, corporations aren't people, right? And they only make decisions that care about causes because they think making decisions that allow them to care about those causes makes them a profit. Like, that's again, basic planes should probably not be in this deck. I think I'm keeping this and just Manamorphosing into the Sprite Dragon. Feels bad that I have to Manamorphose into it though and can't Manamorphose afterwards. Corporations aren't people. Have you seen Pete Buttigieg? That's a good one. I'm gonna have to remember that one. That makes me chuckle. All right, so now I Stormwing and try and scry into a land. I think I'm topping the opt on top. He wants to revoke tax-exempt status from universities and colleges. How about we start with revoking tax-exempt statuses from the Catholic Church and all the other religious institutions that got government bailout money? That's what I think. You want to get a bailout from the government, you should pay taxes. Sniff Power, thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. Yeah, Boost shoes on the ball. I get it. The church is a business. Are you telling me they're selling me salvation? I'll take 2. 2 salvations, please. Don't worry, chat. This 4/4 is not a big deal. I've got this path to exile. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Magic's a game where you actually don't play your cards. It's cute. He only wants to revoke nonprofit status from liberal indoctrination universities. Liberty University would obviously keep its status. Oh, 2020. Oh, 2020. Please stop, 2020. Please stop. All right, so I think we're just crossing our fingers and hoping they have nothing. So what's the best sequence to win if they have nothing? Is it just double Helix this turn, snap Helix the next turn? I think that's the line. I think we're just like double Helix upstairs, hope they can't touch the Sprite Dragon, hope we run them down, and we can snap Helix next turn. For the first time since I started watching today, we found a third land that I didn't know that was allowed. Yeah, hoping for no dismember. Gosh, hoping for no Ugins. They could 6 mana Ugin us here. It's probably unbeatable. Yeah, wondering if myself and the entirety of my family are about to die when one of us gets like a stomach ache or a cough or something is like, you know, yeah. Okay. They can't cast a Staring Bridge here. Relic of Progenitus. Listen, we've all been there, chat. We've all been there, okay? We've all been there. Speaking as someone who has had Chalice counter his own spell more times than he cares to count. I feel for you, opponent. All right, so now I'm going to have this. With this draw, I think we have this kill Karn, so he can't get Ensnaring Bridge. And then we'll snap Manamorphose, cast Stormwing. Hey, J Prodigy, thanks for the 2/3 of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Can someone explain what just happened? My opponent has the card Chalice of the Void here on 1, which says whenever anybody casts a 1-mana spell, it gets countered, and they use their Karn the Great Creator to wish for a 1-mana spell from their sideboard. So they explicitly went and got a spell that they then countered themselves. Things you love to see, right? Oh, this is about to gain them life, right? Poop. Wait, is this going to 4 or is it at 4? You scry second. Okay, so it's going to 3. Sure. Okay, so if they don't interact with our board, we have lethal, right? We have path plus the path trigger plus the Bauble trigger kills them in the air. Are we going to steal it, chat? Are we going to steal it? Feels like we're about to steal it. Do 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 do. Beep 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 do 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 do. All right, listen, we take those, chat. We take those. I think Trusty is a sub, or there's someone who's in chat. The name's familiar. I think there's someone here. We did 3-2 though, so you know. Stormwing was super impressive. Like, super impressive. Yep, we've been there, Trusty. I knew they were a sub. Good luck in the rest of your league, Blake. Thoughts on this? I actually really like this deck, and Stormwing felt very reasonable. I think Apostle's Blessing is probably some hot nonsense. I think that we had enough threat density. I think we had enough threat density that I don't really need strict protection spells for it. And I think I would cut these and probably just add the 4th Sprite Dragon back in. And then maybe another instant or sorcery. Maybe you could play another 1-mana cantrip or something, or another gut shot. Bauble actually ended up being pretty reasonable through that set. I wasn't expecting it to be very good, and then between the fetch lands and how it works with the Delver triggers, it ended up being okay. The mana base was a disaster. So what would I do with the mana? So these Prismatic Vistas. You're not seeing the deck, right? Sorry, I'm organizing things here, and you're not seeing it because Moto, and you know. There we go. Okay, there. Now you can see it. All right. So, the mana base is a disaster. Prismatic Vista should ideally be Scalding Tarn. If we can't afford Scalding Tarn for budgetary reasons, I would play Polluted Delta. I would play Arid Mesa or Polluted Delta. Basic Plains should get out of my deck. Hallowed Fountain should get out. These should get out. I think you probably want 5 Shocks and 2 basics, an island. A mountain sounds good. You want Island Mountain for playing against Burn. I'd probably play a 7th fetch, I think. And then ideally, you should have 4 Scalding Tarns because you have Island Mountain as your basics. But again, if it's a price thing, play just blue fetches or Arid Mesas. And then these 4 lands should probably just be a mix of fast lands. Even just what these colors are for fast lands. Would you want Plains for Blood Moon? Nah, you have Manamorphose. And like, honestly, so like, you're playing against a Blood Moon deck with this all good, you probably just board out your white spells. You probably just like board out Helix and Plains and just be a blue-red deck. Is basically what you want to do, I think. But yeah, the core idea seems fine. Stormwing Entity just like genuinely felt like that second threat that Delver decks have been looking for a long time. That's just like another evasive threat that's cheap to play, and it like powers itself up on top of that. It helps you get card selection for your draws. Like, did you ever swap to Luris just right? No, there's 2 copies of Luris in the sideboard to board in. So you're never submitting a companion with this deck. Luris is just a good value card to bring in the grindy matchups. And you also board in Luris against aggressive decks like Burn and 8-Whack as a Source Staff lifelink in addition to your Lightning Helixes. So this is an attrition card. So Seasoned Pyromancer and Luris are like your attrition cards, basically. So like when you're playing against like Jund or Control, you bring these 4 cards in to grind with them. And I think that's a fine plan. But yeah, so just concise. Core of the deck was good. Clean up the mana. Yeah, that's about it. Core was good. Clean up the mana. Cut the Apostle's Blessings. All right. Hey, look at that. We played a moto deck and it was a dumpster fire. See, chat? I told you, I almost always accept crappy tempo decks because they're fun. All right, we are going to shift gears and roll on into some Runeterra for the remainder of the stream. We're going to be kicking off with some Eternal Karma in that today. I'll be back, for those that are Magic fans, I'll be back to doing 2 Magic decks per day again next week when all the Magic formats aren't lame ducks after they tell us what's happening on their ban list. But for the rest of this week, I'm doing 1 Magic and 2 Runeterra because Wizards of the Coast making Wizards of the Coast decisions.